Okay, welcome. Anyone on YouTube? This is episode 8 of the Dear Nigerian series. This is 1 whole hour and 6 minutes later than usual. Why? I got tired during the day and I decided to take a little nap. A little nap became hours, right? So here now. This is the Dear Nigerian series. If you're seeing this for the first time, this is episode 8. So there's been 7 episodes before this. And if it's the first one you're seeing, find episodes 1 to 7. And I'm hoping you're a Nigerian parent. If you're a Nigerian parent, this is for you, right? This is for you. Okay. So, what is this for? This is a series dedicated to helping Nigerian parents pay attention to little things here and there that we do that sabotage our parenting without our knowing. I mean, there are lots of things that we do, and most of us say, "Yes, that's how we were raised. Look how we turned out." And this is also dedicated at drawing your attention to the fact, as a Nigerian parent, that you didn't turn out okay. It's not cool anymore. It doesn't make logical sense anymore for us as parents now to continue saying, look how it turned out, as an excuse for perpetrating all manners of unacceptable parenting behavior and parenting patterns. Okay, so this series is dedicated to drawing attention. Hey, grandpa, how are you? You're welcome. So today, one more thing that you're supposed to, you're is expected, it's hoped that you would pay attention to and stop. Okay, right. So I'd like to share an experience. I'd like to start by sharing an experience I had, and I teach public speaking in a school to teenagers, preteens, and teenagers, and so I got for this term when we started in the term on the 8th, I think on the 15th of January. I had a couple of students after the first class. There was need for there was need. I was informed that there were more enrollments for the public speaking class. Okay, and then I got to the class for the second class in the term, and I didn't find any students ready for class. So I waited. I called. I called on my mobile the coordinating teacher to let him know that I was around and I didn't find any students waiting. And so he personally started to, draw their attention, call the students to class. And I wondered why. Um, the class is quite interesting. There's a lot of activities that we, conduct, that we laugh a lot. So it wasn't a matter of fact. It wasn't as a result of the fact that they found it boring or they didn't want to continue with the class. Something was up. So I was informed that most of them had gone for a competition in their boarding school boarding school section, right? Which was in a different part of the city. And so while the coordinating teacher was bringing students who were supposed to be in class, he informed me that there were two new students who had been enrolled from the beginning of term, but who hadn't attended the class prior. So in comes one student. From one look at her, I knew she was a senior secondary school student. She had the gloss on her lips. She had her eyebrow quite well pruned, combed. I could swear, hey Mecca, I could swear I saw that she had put some gloss on her eyebrows. I laughed, and then she got into a calm argument with the teacher. She said she had another class and was clashing. The teacher asked her what class. She said, I think she said geography. She said, no, you're not supposed to be having geography at this moment. This moment is club time. And so you sit down there and start your class. I was watching them having that conversation. I already had 3 students who were ready for class, but I wanted to show up more before we started, so I didn't have to keep going back, in the lessons I was teaching for the day. And afterwards, she was instructed to sit, and the teacher left. And while I was waiting for the others to come, I called her to a corner. I was like, "What's your name?" She told me. I was like, "What class are you?" She said she was in SS1. I was like, "Good, good. Hey, mom makers, welcome." And I said, "Okay, so you don't want to be in public speaking class?" She was like, "No." I was like, "Why?" She said she wants to be. She doesn't. That she didn't. It was her mom that asked her to be here. I was like, "Okay, did you have this conversation with your mom?" She was like, "Well, yes." I said, "Did you know your mom registered you for this class?" She said, "Yes, I know, but I don't." I was like, "Okay, I don't know why you don't want to be here, but do you know that public speaking class can make you do this, that?" I told her different kinds of things that public speaking could help her do. I mean, it could boost your confidence. You could stand before any kind of crowd, anybody, and speak. And the cat won't get your tongue. Do you know that public speaking could make you write creatively? It helps you in your academics. It does this, it does. I went on and we spoke for about 5 minutes. And I said, and then she started, I saw that she started listening. Then she asked me a question. Can he help me? Do you act here? I was like, no, the focus here is not to act. But when you learn the tactics for public speaking and the techniques for public speaking, there isn't any manner of drama that you couldn't act, because then you have a control of the power of dialogue. You're great with inflecting your voice and the tone and your body language to pass across any kind of message that you want to pass across to your audience. And that's what acting is all about. I said, yeah, that she actually wants to be in the acting club. I said, is there an acting club? She said, no. I said, so while there is no acting club, you can be here and learn the rudiments that would help you to act when there is an acting club, or you have an opportunity to join such a club. She listened attentively, and I said, but really, um, if you still don't want to be here, when you go home today, have a conversation with your mom and explain to her. Make it calm. Make sure she's in a great mood. And make it calm. Have a calm conversation and appeal to her humane side, so that she will understand why you would rather be in another club other than this. And she agreed. Next week, I didn't see her, but I saw her younger sister who was away at the in that at that moment while we were having that conversation. So why did I share this story? It's just to create a background for the topic for today's episode. Dear Nigerian parents, they've gone. I don't have anybody to go and put on the generator, and so we're gonna have to do this until they restore electricity. I hope you can see me. Yes, I hope this is bright enough. Okay, so the dear Nigerian parent, stop, stop forcing your wishes upon your children. Stop forcing your wishes upon your children. Stop trying to live out your cares, your own wishes, the things you wish that you could do. Stop forcing it upon your children. There are so many things that go wrong when you do this. Now, this child I have this conversation with, they were at home. The mom wants them to be in public speaking class, she and her younger sister. But she didn't dialogue with them. She didn't tell them why. She didn't ask for their opinions. Now, I want to ask you as a Nigerian parent. Now, before I tell you the many dangers of this, I'm assuming that you actually have experienced some of the dangers yourself. Now, let's try one. I want to ask you, as a Nigerian parent somewhere, wherever you are watching now, I want to ask you, did you study your course of choice, or did you study your parents' course of choice? So many of us, So many Nigerian parents who are parenting today studied two or three courses, or maybe even one. Sometimes, if you studied one, chances are that one course of study that you're not using today was not a course of study that you chose. Your parents chose it. They told you you have to study. What do you want to study music? What's that? In the times of what are you going to what are you going to do? Are you going to teach music, or you're going to start singing, or you're going to play? Please, what's that nonsense? Please go and enroll for accountancy or marketing or business administration or engineering. Those are reasonable courses that people who have sense study. And so, no matter what you said, you studied a course, maybe law, because your father wanted to be a great lawyer, but he didn't have his parents didn't have the funds to send him to school. Now he wants to live out his dreams through you. And so you get into school, you study law for how many years again? Do they study law for? And then you go to law school, and then you're called, and then afterwards you're called to the bar, and you dump those 5 to 6 years of experience because they are not you. It wasn't what you wanted, it was what your parents wanted. And so you say, I've studied it for you. Go, Gashi, take, take. Maybe you have your own. Now, can I go and live my life? What that means is that for those 5, 6 years you were living for your parents, you probably felt some undercover resentment for what's wrong with this man. Like, I can't even do what I like. So you're going there, you're just trying to, you're moving like you're like a zombie moving through it, trying to get the grades to go and dash your dad because that's what he wants, right? So many of you, quite a good chunk of us, had these experiences. We experienced that for reals, right? This is one of the things. So you are trying to, if you think about how that made you feel, the experience you went through in that alone, it will give you an idea what you're doing to your children when you impose your wishes on them. It could be things as simple as how they should wear their hair. How many of you, some of you who know me personally, knew that I wore red hair last year, the year before, and I'm in my mid early 40s, and I started wearing red hair at 39. Why? I always wanted to dye my hair. Always, always from when I was in secondary school. I was a very calm child, well brought up and all. But I loved color. I still love color. I mean, look at me. I look like a butterfly. I mostly always look like a butterfly. I always wanted to dye my hair. In secondary school, I had this color I wanted to wear in my hair, which I called raven black. Do you know what color that is? Black that has metallic shimmers of blue. I haven't found the appropriate shade now in my adulthood. But because I was quite contained, an only girl, my father expected me to be a certain way. I never dared to dye my hair. But see now, I became and I was like, I dyed this one. I dyed purple. I dyed because I felt I could finally do what I wanted. When did my father pass on? 3 years ago. I have two ear openings. I want three more. When I was in the university, I wanted to pierce my ears, extra piercings. Why did I want the extra piercings? Because I wore very large earrings, and it pulled down the ear piercing I had. My ear hole became slack, and I didn't like the looks. I wanted an extra piercing. But my father, my favorite G, my main G, was of the opinion that people who pierced their ears were ashawos, people who didn't have home training, who didn't have character, who were loose. He said we didn't have that as a conversation, but a one-on-one conversation. But in the expressions he made, because we talked, we had conversations a lot. He said people who had those extra piercings, who wore anklets. I wear anklets right now. I wear leg rings, toe rings. I do. Those were things I wanted to do as a younger person, which I couldn't because I wanted to be contained in my father's idea of what to be, how to be. Now, was I well raised? Yes. Was I will I say constricted? No, I wasn't. But there were those, it wasn't physical, but there were those subtle things that still felt like that were still that. As wonderfully as my parents raised us, there were those still, like constrictions, right? So these are things that I am doing now because I couldn't be. So imagine that there were some other things that I felt I was restricted from doing. So, one of the things that you would realize, I want you to think, do you have your child at in your home who's been rebellious? Is your child constantly rebelling? Is your child throwing incessant tantrums? Are you having some sort of power tussles or what looks like a power tussle between you and your teenager or your preteen? Are do you find yourself you're constantly arguing with your teenager, your child, and you're going like, will you shut up? I'm talking to you. Do you know I've grown up? I'm an adult, so I should know better than you. I should tell you what to do. Do you find yourself using such words, such arguments? Do you find yourself threatening your child a whole lot of the times and telling them you need to, you have to, because I said so? If you find yourself doing that, that is you right there as a Nigerian parent imposing your opinions, imposing your wishes, imposing your ideas on your child, living out your dreams, living out your lives through your child. Stop it. Stop it. The main thing there are several things that this achieves. And hey, Zani, welcome. Hey, there's several things that this achieves, and most of them are mental, psychological. All right. So when you force your wishes upon your children, one of the major things you do is they lose autonomy. They lose their autonomy. It deprives them of the opportunity to make their own choices. You shut their own choices down. And because human beings come primarily disposed to have their self will, it's like you're contravening a natural law. You're shutting down the will. You're enslaving your child by imposing your wishes on them like a master and a slave. Because children come, they don't they need power. They need to feel in charge of things. Now you're going to argue, why should they be in charge when they don't know what to do? And my answer to that is, putting them in charge does not take power away from you. What it does is it makes you a partner in control. So, how about you have conversations with your child? Have conversations, give them several options of a thing. There are things you actually do want your child to do. So instead of insisting upon that particular thing, a strategy to doing that is laying out several options. Say, you can do this, you can do this. How about, have you get them to start thinking about a series of things within a space, within a series of things that are contained, and have them make a choice out of it. You are still in charge, but you're putting them in control. Okay, so this is one of the safest, simplest ways to ensure that your child feels in control while you are in charge, while the power remains with you. Allow them to make choices out of options. It means you become a guide without impositions. All right. So the child loses autonomy. When people lose autonomy, it can lead to resentment and rebellion. They keep arguing. They always feeling, what's even wrong with them? And I can never do, I can't breathe, I can't do. That's one of, and once that happens, frictions begin to occur. You don't need that. One other thing that imposing your opinions or imposing your wishes of on your children does is it makes them lose their self identity. As we, even now as an adult, do you realize that sometimes you might even be in your 40s and you still don't know exactly what you really want to do? You're still trying to find your purpose in life. Find that which you truly vibrate in, that would give you a good sense of fulfill. Do you realize that at your age, in your 30s, in your 40s, sometimes in your 50s, you're still trying to know exactly what it is? And so imagine a child, as what human beings always try to find a self identity, a sense of purpose, where they're headed, where they can focus, things that give them fulfillment, satisfaction, joy. So when you impose your opinions, your wishes, and your values on your children, you deny them the opportunity to develop their God given talents and values, talents especially, right? Every human being his own unique talents. Your job as a parent is to help that child in your care to nurture the beautiful talents that they come with, to help them grow, but not to impose your own on them. When you impose yours on them, one of the things you're doing is like telling the Almighty that no, you didn't know what you were doing. You should have created two of me. Why did you create this one? It's not important what you gave him, it's what you gave me that is important. Imagine that audacity. Such a brazen audacity. So that's what you do when you impose your own opinions and wishes and values on your child without giving them a breather, without looking at what they come with. One of the things it achieves also on the heels of that is a low self-esteem. I said that most of the things that this achieves borders on their mental and emotional and social well-being. So it gives them a low self-esteem. It makes them feel like they don't really, their own thoughts and their own feelings don't matter. Hey Pams, welcome. Like most their thoughts and their feelings don't matter, only yours do. And so they're feeling like, what's the use? I'm not even important. Right? I mean, it gives them a low self-esteem. For some, they taper into an anxious anxiety and depression. Once again, this keeps coming up. Depression. It might look like we're banding this about a lot, but if you find a child who is constantly tapering into disinterestedness in life, in things that children his or her age should be interested in the excitement of life, that is depression subtly setting in. And most times, because we as Nigerian parents do not understand or expect these things to happen to us, because we believe that we are that resilient, we shut it down. We make them feel guilty for feeling that way. One more thing that imposition of your own ideas and dreams on your children does is it causes poor decision making skills. If children are not given an opportunity to make decisions, make mistakes, and learn from them, they will struggle to develop that core life challenging skill to tackle life's challenges later in life. You won't always be there to tell them what to do, to impose. When you're no longer there, they might be lost. They wouldn't know their left from their right because mommy or daddy told them what to do every single time. Besides, I don't need to tell you that it strains parent child relationships because when you impose your wishes on them, it leads to a breakdown in communication. They don't bother to say anything to you because, well, she wouldn't listen, he wouldn't listen. So why bother? Let me just listen to what they say. So you never really know what their feelings are, what their cares are, what their ideas are, what how they feel, their opinions about different things, right? It limits exploration and creativity. If you're constantly imposing your wishes and your ideas on your child, chances are they shut down that part of their brain that allows for creativity and innovation. And so you find a lot of us who had that that part of our brain shut down, unable to dare as children. If you can recall, there were so many things that you felt that you could conquer. Who be you? What be you? You feel that you can do all things. You had all manners of crazy ideas, things you would do. You're going to be the president. You're going to build a rocket and go into space. All by you thought about all manners of things that you could achieve, and you actually did create a lot of things. I mean, I don't know, but I don't think it was an adult that created Boris. You know that thing that children that we use. I don't know those in their maybe late 30s 40s, early 50s, thereabout. There was these things that were created from wheels that you get from bicycles and all that with teeth, and then we constructed like a rectangular cars, and you put the wheels under, and you could some of us for where I grew up, you could carry stuff with it, you could fetch water with it when waterboard went awry at that period. And some of us could just get into it and roll down slopey sliding streets and just have massive fun. I don't think it was an adult that created that. There was a need, and children played with it. There's so many things that children are able to create if they are allowed. I have my 11-year-old, my 10-year-old going on 11. When he was 5, he drew a lot of things that he wanted to create. And he explained to me the things that those things are supposed to fix and why he felt that they were important. That innovation that children have, that you had as a child, were shut down, shut in by impositions, not being allowed to air your views, to follow your own ideas and, birth them, create things based on your ideas and your opinions. Our parents did that to us. But you, as a parent right now, dear Nigerian parent, you need to stop it. You force your children to make inauthentic inauthentic life choices, careers, relationships, lifestyles that do not align with their own true desires. And there is a constant pressure to fulfill your own expectations and your wishes. It causes anxiety, it causes depression, it causes other mental issues, apathy, disinterestedness. So, dear Nigerian parents, stop it. Stop imposing your wishes and your opinions on your children. It does a whole lot of harm. There is some good, you would say. Yes, if I don't impose, then they are going to just do anyhow. And then before you know it, they're out of my reins. I won't be able to control them. Please watch that word there, control. Why do you need to control your children? Are they animals? They are humans, come with their own beautiful creativity and talents. What you need to do is not to control, but to nurture, to help them, to bring out all those latent talents that they come with, grow them into something that will be even more beautiful than that which you yourselves have come with. So, what are ways that you can help them to ensure that they are properly guided, to ensure that despite the fact that you are not imposing on them, that everything is going right and everybody is safe? So instead of telling them, hey Zimi, same, same, welcome. So instead of always telling them what to do, encourage open communication. All right. Open communication ensures that you create a safe environment where your children feel comfortable with expressing their thoughts, their feelings, and concerns, and there's no fear of judgment. One of the major things we do as Nigerian parents is listen, ready to attack, ready to correct, ready to condemn. Stop it. Listen objectively. Try to see what they are seeing that you can see. Keep asking questions so that they can explain why they're seeing it that way until you understand. And should you not understand, despite listening attentively to their perspective, their opinions, and their desires, should you not understand, let them know that this is how I see it. How do you think? What do you think about this? I look at how I see it. Look at why I see it that way. What do you think? Children are critical thinkers too. They have their ability. They're not critical thinkers per se, they are creative thinkers. And when you're creative in putting your arguments and your opinions across, they pick it. Sometimes they can even take everything that you think and run with it. I, for one, I know that I've been such a big influence on my son without necessarily control. I don't control him. I had a lot of conversations with him. So sometimes he's my idea when he says stuff and the way he would argue about his stuff, I see me right there. So how about you create an open communication, an opportunity for open communication without imposing anything, right? Make it open, make it constant, make them find reason to always come to you with their ideas and their opinions, and just make it a two-way traffic, okay? And so listen attentively and try to understand, not to judge. Provide guidance and support. Find out what they're doing. Tell them, okay, why don't you do it this way? Look at what I experienced during my own time, and you might experience this. So how about you do it? Guidance and support is expected from you. You can give it. Respect their autonomy. Encourage them to take ownership of the choices that they make. Let them own it. Because when you offer guidance and support and allow them to learn from their own experiences and their own mistakes, they get better. If they make a mistake that isn't life threatening, and you go like, oh, that was what I was, they will say, oh, that was what mommy was trying to say, oh, that's what daddy was trying to say. And they would create room for them to come back to you when they have been beaten, when they have fallen, and they're trying to pick themselves up. Create room for them to have the courage to come back to you, to ask for your opinion by themselves. They would come because they would know that you have superior knowledge, superior advantage and experience, and they want to learn from you. When you don't impose, they come. They say when you want somebody to stay with you, you let them fly. It applies primarily to children. I tell you. Encourage exploration and self discovery. Let them explore, let them discover. When you do that, they are eager to come and tell you, oh, mom or dad, do you know this? I say, oh, wow. Okay, during my own time, look at how I experienced it. They listen. They take your own knowledge and your experience, they put it to their own knowledge and their own experience, and they make form a ball of opportunities, great things that you didn't even imagine were possible. Set realistic expectations. Do not expect your child to go and live out a dream that you had by yourself, which may not have been realistic for you to achieve. And then you want to now compel your child, condemn your child to achieving your unrealistic dreams. Stop it. Stop it, my dear Nigerian parent. Stop it. Celebrate diversity. Every child is different. Every human being is different. What you're good at is not what I am good at, is not what she's good at, is not what he's good at. Realize that. Create room for different things to happen simultaneously that aren't the way you see it. Now, there's something I learned in class. I'm going to make an analogy. So this book, no, so you're going to say it's green with scratches of black, and then someone say, what's this? And you say, what's the color? They say it's green, scratches of black. Ah. And then someone says, no, it's white with borders of red or pink. And you're saying, no, no, it's oblong. There are different sides of this. There are different sides of this book. You see it this way. Some people are seeing it from here. Some people are seeing it like this. Some people are seeing it like this. Some people create room for that opportunity of different angles to a thing. It's not always just the way you see it, your way or the highway. Stop it. Dear Nigerian parents, stop imposing your opinions on your children. Stop imposing your dreams on your children. Stop compelling them to do things your own way. Have discussions with them. Dialogue. It is very important. Dialogue. Give them relevance. Relevance is a level of power. Human beings love relevance. Children, especially, they love relevance. Delegate to them. Give them responsibilities that make them involved in what they are doing. Give them tasks on what they have decided. Help them align, find ways to map out a plan for what it is they have set out to do, to see the different aspects that they can achieve that from. Do that. It is very important. Hey, David Emmanuel, welcome. Right? Seek their opinions. How do they feel? Have this, that's discussion. Work on their strengths. What is it they are strong in? Please do not stop it. Stop imposing your opinions on your children. Dialogue. You are living your life. You have lived the great chunk of your life. Your youth, you have lived your youth. Can you allow your own children to live out their own youth? Can you do that? Is it possible? When the Almighty created you and waited to create your child, he knew what he was doing. He gave you your own talents, gave your child his own talents or her own talents, and they should be given an opportunity to develop those talents and create amazing things with their talents that will be in honor of the Almighty that gave them to him or gave them to her. Your task as a Nigerian parent is to nurture, to guide, to help, to listen, to encourage, to help grow. Stop imposing your dreams, your opinions, and your wishes on your children, it doesn't achieve any good. You make them live your life instead of theirs. The Almighty could have given you two lives, but He gave you yours and gave them theirs. Allow each person to live out their own life. Okay? Thank you. This is the topic for today's episode of the Dear Nigerian Parent. This is episode 8. There are two more episodes for the month of February. Incidentally, there are 2 more days left in the month of February. So, subsequently, in subsequent months, we're going to have 5 episodes every month, right? The idea is to draw our attention as Nigerian parents to things that we do that we take for granted. We do them every day in our homes, in our parenting, that shoot our parenting game in the foot, that make a mess of the beautiful, otherwise beautiful work we do at parenting. The things that we experienced as children that we didn't like, that made a mess of our mental and emotional and psychological health, which we are repeating, and which, because of the opportunities, because of the way the society and the world is right now, it is causing tremendous irreparable damage on our children. So this is it for today, and see you tomorrow, earlier than this moment. All right, adios, bye bye. If you liked this, if you liked what you heard, if you think this is helpful, share it with as many Nigerian parents as possible. The idea is to ensure that as many Nigerian parents as possible have their attention drawn to this. Share it. It's live on YouTube on my channel, O.O.N 7340. Or you can look for Melogon Nadi on YouTube to share, just in case you lose the thread on Instagram. For those on YouTube, please share the link and let as many Nigerian parents as possible hear these things, have their attention drawn to these things. All right. I hope I'm not too dark in the, well, Nigerian no power situation. All right, then do have yourself an amazing evening or afternoon or morning, wherever you're watching as a Nigerian parent. Ciao. My name is Omelo Nadi, and I am the children nurturer. Adios. Wow, YouTube was so dark. Too dark. Sorry.